子供からもうずっと車が好きだったね、それはそう。なんか私のお父さんがコマーシャルのビジネスやって、それでよく出張に行って帰って、それで帰るとき毎回小さいのモデルの143スケールモデルにお土産でもらいました。それで、じゃあ今ちょっと英語でね、もっと簡単に話せる。So I really got passion into cars. And I remember particularly one night that he came back late and I was probably 7, 8 years old. And he brought me a model of a little concept car that I didn't know because it was very strange shape. It was looking almost like a soap. It was the Modulo, Ferrari Modulo by Pininfarina. And so that really surprised me. And so I started to try to understand more about car design because that was not looking like a normal car. And so it got me really passionate to think how to design cars. The nice thing is that 40, 45 years later, I became the head of design of Pininfarina, who designed that little car. And so every day I was going to work and seeing the real car in front of me. So I could touch it, I could sit down. So 45 years later, it's almost like a dream became true, and I was heading Pininfarina and having the modulo, the real modulo in front of me every day. I started to draw cars from the very early age. When I was 5, 6, I was drawing cars. And already when I was 8, 10, I was drawing cars, trying to draw my own car. I was writing Filippini design, on my drawing. And I was writing cars and motorcycle. I was really passionate about motorcycle. And then when I was 16, I had two accidents, 2 times in 6 months. I broke twice the same leg in 6 months. So I stopped with motorcycle because I was too dangerous. And there I really I was doing art school at college. And there I really started to understand how to try to become a car designer. So I started to draw my own.
Car design school in
Torino. Torino. でも一緒に建築のユニバーシティ、ポリテクニコdi Milano。だから毎日はミラノに行って、それでミラノからトリノに行って、私が半ばでぐらい住んでて、だから朝ミラノ、午後トリノ、また家に戻って。So studying architecture gave me a lot more of knowledge, understanding. So I studied architecture and design, not about cars. And then I was studying car design in Torino because in Italy there is Milano is architecture and design, furniture design, product design. Torino is car design. So there are two totally different worlds. And I wanted to put the two things together. だから私が車デザインする時もちょっと建築の考え方がある。For example, when car design draw interior, they really like, like drawing flowing lines. I was drawing it most of the time seen by top. I was trying to draw the space, not just the dashboard or the seat. Mostly I was drawing the space. And sometimes I was also trying to draw the empty space. ちょっと日本の考え方かもしれないね。日本spirit. Maybe because I learned when I was in Japan. I was still studying university in Milano. I started already to work as a car designer. 学校みたい。それまたトリノであの時も日本の関係があった。アルドセッサーノで働いた。だから三菱のためよくデザインしました。And then when I finished, it was 1989, and I already had a contact to come to Japan as a car designer. それであの時栗原さんと畑山さんのデザインクラブ箱根、ね、ちょうど初めて2年前初めてだから私にちょっと頼んでじゃあ日本に来てほしいですか、And I decided, I said, okay, I finished the school in few months and then I come. そのヨーロッパに戻ってはパリ、レノデザイン、パトリック・レケモンとPatrick Lequemont, the design director of Renault at that time, really liked my projects, and he told me, when you want to come, please come to Renault. And so I decided 4 years in Japan, I said, okay, now I go back. And I started to work at Renault Boulogne-Billancourt. They still had the studio in Boulogne.
それがサード
Third career. So I worked for 3 years Renault Advanced Design, 1 year at Renault Interior Design. Because as I said, being my attitude and my approach on interior as a car designer, they asked me to be in the interior design, which for me was a little bit hard because I wanted to keep on doing exterior, but I realized I was pretty good on interior, so and I had the chance to do many nice projects, especially for advanced design and concept cars. I was the first design director of Pininfarina coming from outside. So I made a vision of Pininfarina to try to relaunch the image of Pininfarina with the design values like elegance, purity, innovation, and making some show cars, and at the same time trying to find a good customers. So when I arrived, they were losing customers. And then we got back a lot of new customer and also very good European customer. For example, it was difficult at that time. The car I like most are the concept, not production, are concept cars from the 69, 70. So I can say for me, the 3 best cars in the world are the Pininfarina 512S Berlinetta Speciale prototype, designed by Filippo Sapino, the Ferrari Modulo, designed by Paolo Martin, and the Bertone Stratos Zero, designed by Marcello Gandini. Those 3 cars came out in 6 months. All of those cars came out in a place where around 30 kilometers. And in that time, I think it was probably the peak of car design. It's a difficult time for becoming car designer because there is a major change. First, I always thought, car designer, they always dream to do exterior design because it's more fun, probably is easy. If you are talented, it comes out naturally. You don't have to think so much. While interior design is more difficult. I always say to people, please practice and learn interior design. You will probably have more chances to do a good career if you know how to do interior design. Because even now, more than ever, with EV, autonomous car, interior design will be the most important part of the car. Because interior is completely changing also the way people live inside the car and develop. You can see it in Tokyo. People live inside the car. Why there are so many little boxy cars? The exterior is not so important, it's the interior that is important. But in this moment, there is a major change. In the last few days, I've been practicing or doing some trials with AI. And now you can just write down a phrase, push on a button with a smartphone, 30 seconds you have an image of a hyper-realistic car design. Anybody can do it, even if he doesn't know how to hold a pen. But I feel more than ever, the human factor is going to be important. So I think young designer want to be car designer or want to be designer of the future, they have to work on their human side. They have to learn things. They have to learn how to think. They have to learn how to stimulate their creativity in order to make the difference with the AI and the machine. So I still don't know how, because it's something in the last 6 months. If you look on my social networks, you can see I've been publishing pictures of cars that are incredible, sometimes a little bit strange, they have mistakes, but a professional car designer from that image can develop after a car. So I think they have to learn first the human side more than the technique, because technique, everybody can learn it. Before coming to Japan, I also wrote a book which is called Curve. It's an Italian book. It's a book about car design in general, about my passion on car design, about my history. So I'm telling stories. It's not a book only for specialists. It's a book that can be appreciated also by people who are just amateur of design or people who even don't know much about car design. And it's full of nice little drawing made by hand and no Photoshop. So I made 60 drawings, 60 illustrations. And has been published in Italy. It's selling very well. We have been selling probably around 3,000 books already in 1 year, which is a lot for a niche market. It has been published also now in Korea. So I'm really looking forward to find a Japanese publisher who would like to publish also this book in Japan. I hope someone could be interested. どうもありがとうございました。